So it's a little bit of a recap, and to set things off, I'll go through and basically read our little intro here, and we will go from there. So, before you smolders the boiling and congealed blood of the blackened flesh of Moenska, her body crumpled a mess. Huron, or Mech, as he was told to call him, looks at the body in horror as black, oily tears streak down his face, and he holds his hands out in front of him in this sort of guilt-ridden, horrified sort of look. The building quakes again, and the entire eastern wall of this building cracks, spiderwebs crumbling across of it. Before it falls, the roof will slide down a little bit. The whole room doesn't crumble around you, but this whole side of the building just gives way. As you watch it crumble down and the dust begins to clear, you can see across the city and across the blocks this great portal that leads into the Mechanus portal into the Mechanus realm of Mechanus. It looks like a world of winding gears, sparking cables, thrusting pistons, and clockwork jigs. It's like staring into the mechanical guts of a massive clock. Pendulums swing like scythes from the sky for miles upon miles as a marching convoy of clockwork creatures. Modrons of every shape and size marching from the portal and into the streets. This once perfect city now in ultimate chaos. You see Modrons, some of them are the small, little, single-eyed, small, tiny ones that have little wings on their backs. Basically the grunts. And there's thousands and thousands of these. Interspersed between them, you see the dual drones, the tri-drones, more and more. Some of them in the distance look like these great, massive mechanical spiders that are bigger than the building that you're in, just towering above the city as they pull forth from this portal gate. Mech will look around here on almost in awe for a moment, and you could see the guilt that just covers his face when he looks at the body of Winskill on the ground. He'll reach over, grabbing a hold of Vendrick right on the chest. He says, "We need to go." And he'll take off running out towards the main front doors. He says, "Follow me." Zahn, as you look and see, he starts to run, dragging Vendrick behind him. I'll say Zephyr follows as well. This black arrow that's just barely grazing across your side of your head, and it slams into the shoulder of Huron, and you'll sort of jerk forward a little bit and let out a grunt. As you look back where this eastern wall has crumbled, you see 5 men all dressed in just pure black, covering their face, almost like just a full leather-type suit that covers from head to toe, all in black. Not even any eye slits or anything like that you can see. But they come running around. All 5 of them carry crossbows. One of them pulls back another notch and fires off. This one, Seda, skips across the ground, just kicking off of your boot. And Mech will reach back and snap this arrow free, throwing it off to the side. He says, "Kakar, we need to get out of here." And you see him just dragging Vendrick as Zephyr starts to follow. What do you guys do?
So first question, am I still paralyzed?
No, it would have eventually wore off, so you'd be good.
Okay. So just a split second of Zahn staring at that awesome thing happening out there, but there isn't time, of course, as he sees that arrow flying, and then he snaps out of it, and he then in turn grabs one arm of Seda and one arm of Tiva. Run! And after Mac.
So if Zahn is pulling Seda along, Seda's going to go kind of stumbling along in complete confusion and looking up, would say, it's like it's an army. Is this an invasion?
I have no idea, and I don't know who those black people are, and I don't know why he just killed her, and this is crazy.
So she would peek around to make sure that Tiva has been grabbed a hold of as well, and then would stumble along with Zahn, obviously, and as usual, in complete and utter confusion.
Well, and Tiva's pretty much going to have the same reaction because totally confused about what's going on. She just saw someone just be burnt to a crisp. So she's thinking, yeah, we need to get out of here. So she willingly goes along with Zahn.
Behind
but not
you,
clumsily like the other one.
behind you, Zahn, as you look over, you can see those 5 figures basically just making a beeline. They look like they're a little bit more interested in mech, but being that you're heading in the same direction, they're following right along behind you. All of them are notching their own crossbows as they get ready. Everybody give me an initiative roll.
Oh, good. Oh, 7 again. Wow.
Ooh.
Tivas will be better no matter what.
I don't know about that. I rolled a 2.
Yeah, but you have like a +10 or something.
So your initiative bonus, ranged attack bonus.
Yeah,
Plus
initiative
4.
+4. So no, I got a 6.
Oh, well.
Close.
However, I appreciate your faith in me.
You said it's a D20?
Nope, a D6.
Oh, it's a D6.
Yeah.
Oh.
In that case, she rolled the wrong
Oh my
die.
god, I rolled the wrong one. I'm used to.
Yep. Oh, a D6 plus your Dex mod.
Okay, so I
7.
got a 7.
Got it.
4 plus my. I got a 4. Say they got a 4.
Gotcha. All right. Up ahead, you'll see Mecha grabbing a hold of Vendrick, and they just disappear out these front doors, just going right around the corner as you guys take off as well. Zephyr's right behind them. Zahn and Tiva, you guys are up technically at the same time. So, yeah, what do you guys do? I don't care who goes first.
Are the other 3 running for that Modron army quotation marks, or
sort of? You see Zekis, they're up in front of you. I guess it would be to the south, direction-wise anyway. But through the big double doors that were the front of this building, he's running towards those and getting ready to go around the corner. You can see out front where he's running is the Modron army marching past. He's not like running into the way of the army, but he's going right to the outside of the corner and turning like he's going down the street in the same direction with them, but kind of alongside of them, not in the midst of them.
Is there anything in our way, like maybe a pillar which is starting to crumble, or basically something I can kick over with my butt?
Yeah, totally, if you want there to be.
Oh, definitely. Like, sliding my butt like a car, if they do the emergency brake and just slide around and then continue driving. That's
Nice.
what I like to do. And of course, throwing around halfling and dwarf at the same time for momentum.
Don't you have like a charge attack or something of that sort?
Oh, yes.
Why don't you go with that?
That sounds good. Okay.
You can hit the pillar with absolutely no problem, so you don't really need to make it to roll, but if you want to make a damage check to see if you can cause it to...
Okay, that's good, because I rolled a 6. What damage do you want me to roll?
What does it normally have?
It has 1d8 plus strength, so 1d8.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Okay. That's a 6.
Nice. So as you charge forward, grabbing Zahn by one arm, Tiva right behind you, definitely run up. You can see what this tower, it's on the, I guess it would be sort of on the eastern side, where part of this roof has already collapsed, some of these walls, and you can see it's kicked out just enough, but it's caught. Maybe just the stones cracked, a little bit awkward or whatever. As you rush by that, just a quick, swift with your rump, that beautiful Borriere rump slams into this thing, and you can see that as you start to take off out the doorway, it finally kicks out that last little bit. A couple blocks fall, and you can hear the crashing and the cracking of this thing as it starts to come down behind you. Tiva. Behind you, you can see these 5 dark figures. Look up, seeing that the ceiling's starting to collapse. They're about 30 yards or so behind you. So unless they're full-on running, which they are at the moment, odds are they're going to get caught by this.
Sorry, we were muted. So they're going to get caught by the pillar falling.
They'll make saves, but yes, they're going to be caught in the midst of it.
Okay. Well, what she's going to try. So we're still continuing to run, or have we stopped?
I'm sorry. I'm guessing Zahn basically just hit it with her asses or his asses. He was running by, so he's still running.
Okay. Well, then she's just going to continue to run. She just wants to get out.
All right.
She wants to get safe, but she's going to look over and make sure that her friend Seda is still okay. And, you know, if Seda falls or something, she's going to go over there and pick her up. Well, help her up, I should say.
I have her in my other on my other hand, so I'm basically pulling you along.
So Tiva's gonna keep running, and Seda.
Yeah, no point stopping at this point.
Yeah, Seda's running right along.
All right. Let me give these rolls for the rogues real quick. As you turn the corner, Zahn, Seda in tow, and Tiva, you just behind him. You can see Huron Mech up ahead, running along. He keeps waving you up from ahead. He's maybe 20 feet or so in front of you, not too far, but he's waving you along, saying to follow him. Behind you, this building just collapses one block after another. This huge dust and rubble going out and around as you guys take off. As you start to catch up to where Huron is, he keeps leading you further and further down the street. As you glance over your shoulder, though, Zahn, you see two of these robed figures pull forth from this massive dust cloud. They stop just briefly to fire off two bolts. I'm going to say one at Tiva and one at Zahn. What are you guys' armor classes, so I don't have to keep asking for them?
From without shield, then yeah. So that's 14.
For Zahn. I think Tiva was like 18 or something.
19.
19. What's Seda's?
Seda's is ranged is 18.
Is it ranged though? Because they're shooting from behind?
You're still aware of them.
Oh, okay, then it's 16. Sorry.
Okay.
I need every AC I can get.
I apologize. Without shield, I'm 16, not 18.
Okay.
No, I was wrong. It's fine.
No, so was I. So
Got it. All right. So Tiva and Zana. Actually, Tiva is hit that time, but Zana completely botched you. So.
damn, you're the hardest one to hit.
Yeah, no. So as you, Zan, you can feel this arrow, that's almost a sixth sense behind you, and as you glance over, it comes zipping by your rump, and you're able to kind of move just enough, but it buries deep into the back of Tiva's thigh. It's going to be 6 points of damage, Tiva. As this thing punctures in, slowing you down for the moment. Give me a save versus paralyzation.
Well, that's a D20.
Yep, D20 and equal to or greater than whatever that number is.
Oh, 14. I got a 2.
As soon as this hits, you can feel almost like this burning sensation in the back of your leg, and then your toes will start to stiffen up. Your knee gives out, your whole thigh burns. You can feel your body start to go rigid. Right beside you, Zan, you just watch as Tiva face plants into the dirt and lies there. You're going to be paralyzed for 2 rounds, Tiva. And that's the end of the thing. So Zan and Tiva, you are up ahead. You see Huron as he stops, looking over with his eyes sort of wide in horror. See, part of his face looks like it's been burnt a little bit. And it's just covered in like this black, greasy soot type stuff. And he's got Vendrick and Zephyr right there as well. But he grabs a hold of them and he's motioning for you guys to hurry up as he starts to turn down the side alleyway. He says, I can get us out of here. Come on, come on.
So I realize while I'm still running that Tiva is suddenly, with her face in the dirt as I'm still running, which is not good. So I would swing her up as my action and swing her on my back.
Right.
And Seda, don't be jealous now.
Yay, I get to ride my guy.
And I would shout, Seda, put my shield behind her. To shield her on my back, basically.
All right.
What she would do.
All right, Tiva, you are momentarily paralyzed, but it's only going to be until your end of your next turn. You just feel yourself sort of get ripped up in the world, spin around you a little bit as you're throwing down the back of Zahn, being the first to ride upon the Boreer. Well, not counting the cat.
Yeah. She's excited about that, but then she's like, oh my God, this day sucks.
As you kind of stay there, everything's sort of paralyzed back, and you can see just these stomping feet of the Modrons beside you. And out of the corner of your eye, you can see these two dark figures as they're running forward. They look impossibly fast, much faster than you expect just basic people to be running as they're quickly gaining on Zahn. Seda, you would be up then.
If I have to burn, do I have to burn in action in order to strap that shield across her?
It'd be like equip being an item, so yes, in this case.
Yeah, so I'm going to do what Zahn had suggested and immediately try and strap the shield, which hopefully will help protect both of them, and then pull my axe and sort of run along off of Zahn's hindquarter there in case anybody catches up. She can cleave them in twain.
Gotcha. Throw that shield on the back, protecting his rump. I'm going to constantly call you a her, but behind you, the rogues, as you notice them as well, Seda, they're moving much faster than you would expect just basic humans or whatever they are to be moving. Their feet almost in a blur. All of their motions sort of seem to be this blurry sort of thing, and this black, shadowy, like aura seems to trail behind them a little bit. As you come around the corner, Zahn, up ahead, you can see the other three, Zephyr, Vendrick, and Mac Huron, at the end of this dead-end alleyway. And it looks like Huron is down on the ground trying to pry up a grate or something. I need a save versus breath weapon from Zahn and Tiva. Or Seda, I'm sorry. Zahn and Seda.
I hit it dead on. Is that pass?
Yep, that's pass.
Where's breath?
Or should be the
Oh,
one?
that's area effect, right?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, no.
No.
Shit.
So, Seda, as you're looking at these dark, shadowy figures, you kind of bump into Zahn as he comes to a stop and gets ready to go down this side alley and stuff. You turn the corner and keep on running up ahead. You can see Huron. There's this huge trembling crash. Is what looks to be the foot of a giant metallic beast type thing. Comes crashing down. It just clips your backside, Zahn. But unfortunately, Tiva, you're paralyzed on Zahn's back, so this is going to go apply to you as well.
Oh, God.
8 points of damage you both will take.
Oh, my God. I'm -4. So you hear me shouting as I look at the grate, he's not serious, is he? And then kaboom!
Tiva, you feel Zahn's body give out. Even though you're unable to move, you're thrown off to the side. You get clipped by part of this giant, looks like almost like a spider-like creature. It only has 6 legs, and the top of it is sort of like this humanoid figure that sits at the top. You can see it's a mechanical type object like the rest of these Modrons are, but much, much bigger. Back end of Zahn, it lifts away, and it's just completely crushed the back end of your hips and part of your legs, Zahn, as you're lying on the ground. And Tiva, you feel yourself get thrown, hit the ground, and roll, and all of a sudden it's just nothing but a swarm of these Modrons marching around you.
So, this big one that just breathed all over her, how close is it?
You're right there beside it, so it'd be like within melee range. It's right there.
On me.
I'm going to melee the shit out of it then. Angrily.
You can see as you turn and you look at this thing, Seda, it has absolutely no concept of what it's done or whatever it is. It's just marching blank faced, in order, and just lifts up this massive leg and just marches forward, these feet stomping. I need a 1d20 roll from Zahn to see what happens to you, and you actually have to give me just a second to open up my.
I roll what?
folder.
Sorry.
A
D20.
1d20 roll. Let me double
D20?
check. Let me double check.
Oh, that's the terrible random chart.
It is.
Oh no!
Yep, 1d20. What you got?
A 3.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Actually, that fits perfectly. The character has suffered extensive trauma and/or infection into one of its legs. So as this thing lifts up its leg and starts marching forward, Sadie, you just see the back end. I'm going to say the left haunches of Zahn is just a crumpled, mangled splatter of gore.
Oh shit.
And it just keeps right on marching, completely oblivious to what it's done. Up ahead, you can see it stomps on other people and people running out of the way. Behind you, on a positive note, the 2 rogues failed theirs, so they're just a complete splatter across the ground as well, Seda. And back up to the initiative. Since you did not die, you were just unconscious at the moment, Zahn, so just 0 HP.
0, okay.
And Tiva, you are paralyzed to the end of this turn, so next turn you'll be able to go, but you are in the midst of stomping people. So Seda, technically you would be up since the other 2 can't do anything at the moment. Up ahead, you can see Huron just yelling for you to hurry up and get down here as he moves beside this grate. Vendrick drops down, then he comes down. Zephyr looks back and forth, sort of for that moment, wondering what he's going to do, and you see him running back towards you, Seda.
So this giant thing that just breathed and stomped, has it like started to just move on?
Yep.
Okay. So
it's about the size of a building, just to give you a reference.
So it doesn't look like it's going to stomp or breathe on her again.
I mean, there's more feet pounding around and more of these things around, but this one, it's not doing it on purpose. It's just marching.
So Seda grabs her axe and like hefts it up and gets ready to make a swing. And then as she realizes that it's just walking over, she reaches down and grabs Tiva by like the scruff collar of her shirt.
She is out in the middle of all of this. You'd have to run out there and grab her.
Oh, I thought we were all standing right there together.
Nope, she got thrown off when Zahn got stepped on. She's basically rolled out into the middle of this marching army.
Okay.
Wow.
So in that case,
you can see her, but
I'm going to take my shield and use it as like a linebacker. I'm going to power out there to try and grab her and then drag her back. And then if I have enough action to do so, I'm going to reach down and get an arm up underneath Zahn's arm and try and drag both of them off to the side of the road for safety.
That's all right. How about give me a strength check? So just a 1d20 equal to or less than your strength.
Yeah, so I got a 10 under 17.
All right. So, yeah, you're able to charge out there, grab a hold of Tiva, and start pulling her back. Around you, more and more of these things are just pounding, walking by. You can see, which might seem sort of weird to say, but they don't even pay attention to you. You plow through some of them, knock them over, and they won't even really acknowledge that you're there. They just stand back up and start getting right back into formation and marching along. A couple of them might even bounce off of something. They don't even look at you. It's as if you don't even exist to them because they're marching through. But yeah, you're able to grab Tiva and give me one more strength check to make it back out to where Zahn is.
That would be a 12 under 17.
All right. So yeah, once again, you just plow back out, dragging Tiva behind you, carrying her the best you can as these things march by. Hit quite a few of them and bounce off and knock a few out of the way to get where you need to be, but burst forth from this marching of mechanical beings and kind of skid to a stop where Zahn is. You can see Zephyr has caught up and is standing right next to her as well. His hands have this bluish sort of glow to them. As he looks at you, he's get her back to the others. I can get her or him. It's not. I just.
Yeah, just roll with it. She's just such a lady. It's hard
to know. I know.
Yeah, so she'll do that then. She basically she likes Zahn, but she's more concerned about getting Tiva out of the stomping ground. So
Right. So you turn and start heading. You'd have to make a full turn on your next action to reach the grate where they went down into the sewer system. And rogues are dead. You mark them off because they're out of the way. Zahn, you did your thing. So Zephyr's going to reach over and grab a hold of you, Zahn. You can just barely feel that consciousness. You can hear the pounding of these things behind you and this intense pain on your back end, unable to move it really. And then you feel like this cooling sort of calm go across your body, and this pain fade away. It's still there, but it's not in such throbbing intensity as it was for a moment. And then it's just blackness around you as you fade out for the moment. And Zephyr will heal you 2 hit points, but you're unconscious for the moment. And then just as you're fading out, you can feel somebody tugging at you. And that would be the end of that round. So back to the top. Zahn, you are unconscious. Tiva, you are no longer paralyzed. You can feel Seda dragging you along.
Woohoo!
Again.
I'm just a rag doll.
Get thrown everywhere.
you're a really pretty ragdoll.
And actually, this will kind of impact both of you. So Tiva and Seda, I need a save or paralyzation.
I got an 11 over 8.
That's
I got 19 over 14.
That's what you want. You want to beat it.
Oh, I
wanna
want to
beat
beat
it.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yay, woohoo!
So Seda, as you maybe drop Tiva down and you guys are running, you're dragging her behind you. You can hear this heavy thud behind you as another foot of this thing comes down, and then this massive fissure just runs along the side alleyway up this building. Parts of it start to crumble down, but this gap just opens up right where you were. You're able to get over this thing before it opens up completely, but the whole ground, almost like an earthquake, it just separates into this massive fissure. Zephyr will look back. It's about 10 feet wide as he's dragging Zahn along and just stops because there's no way he's going to be able to get Zahn over this gap.
Oh my goodness.
Tiva and Seda, you guys would be up. So what do you do? You're on one side of this fissure. It's a 10-foot gap, basically, to the other side where Zahn and Zephyr are. Zephyr or Zahn being unconscious at the moment.
So are we to the point now to where we're safe from being stomped?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to set Tiva. Oh, is Tiva down?
She's unparalyzed, so I figured you probably could just set her down and.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, whichever. I'm going to let you go because you're not paralyzed now and you're safe. And I'm going to run up to the edge of the fissure and immediately throw a rope across. To who is it that's with Zahn again?
Zephyr.
I'm going to throw it over to Zephyr.
Wait, wasn't he unconscious though, or no?
No, he's
Zan's
Zahn's unconscious. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to throw a rope over and tell him to tie it off.
To Zahn?
Yeah.
All right.
Trust me,
Yeah, swing me like a pendulum into the freezer.
I can do this.
Again.
Yes, he quickly ties it around your torso and around your backside, trying to avoid your mangled, crumpled back leg the best he can.
Oh no.
And gives it a quick tug as he secures this knot. Then he'll look over at you, Seda. That'll be his action, basically tying it. So.
Okay.
Oh god, that will hurt. Oh my god. Oh god.
Oh, yeah.
Do it.
Doing it.
What do you do with a tied-off warrior at the other end of the rope?
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna try and snatch her across the fissure and haul her up.
All right. Drag her to the edge. No matter what, I mean, you 10-foot gaps, so she's probably going to go over the edge, or over the edge and kind of smack in below before you can pull them up to your edge.
We don't have much choice.
Oh my god.
That is very true.
Not my face, please.
And
Not the face, not the face.
let's just say that, what was it? Sada's not real big on thinking things through.
Oh my god.
So I would just treat it as a basic fall of 6 or 10 foot. So just a 1d6. So just as you come to the edge here, Zan, you kind of open your eyes a little bit, and then you just see the world around you spin as you're yanked over the edge of this thing and smashed into the wall on the other side. 2 points of damage you will take.
I'm back to 0.
Nice.
And you feel this heavy slam as your head smashes against the rocks or metal pipe or something that's down in there. And then this, as you grate up the side of this wall, Seda, you're able to give me a strength check, just not to drop them.
Just not to drop them.
Yeah.
I got a 16 under a 17.
All right. So it takes all of the energy you got. TV, you probably have to help as well as you pull this massive warrior up and over the lip of this fissure. On the other side, Zephyr's going to look back and forth and try to jump it. What is his dexterity? Oh, he's good at dexterity. And yeah, he does so actually really well. So you see Zephyr step back and then just make a beeline run and leap at the edge of this thing. He's able to just barely catch the edge of this lip and balance himself. Maybe reaches out and tries to grab a hold of the warrior as well to balance himself on and pulls himself the rest of the way. Behind you, you can see Huron Mech as he lifts his head up above this thing. Are you hurrying? Let's go, let's go. Behind you in the distance, where these Modrons are marching down the street, you see another building just crumble into ash, and this massive pile of smoke and debris rise up, and then another one, this whole city just quaking. And you can hear the screams of people. Everything just seems in absolute chaos in what was this once perfect city. And all the while, these things don't even seem to acknowledge what they're doing or what's going on around them. Zan, you're still unconscious for the moment. Actually, Zephyr, he has one more healing, so he'll give that to you. Let me see what I got. So yeah, unfortunately, you only get 1 hit point back. He reaches down,
torture.
sort of runs his hand across your face, and then gives you a quick smack to wake you up. So you will be conscious with 1 hit point. And then Huron will drop down underneath this grate. It is large enough for you to fit down by Zan, although climbing down it would be a little awkward. But
Yeah, as I see that grate and just having hit the fissure wall, I just start shaking my head wildly. No.
I like start grabbing her together, like, stop squirming, get me a rope.
No! Oh my goodness.
We'll be gentle.
Mm-hmm.
as you're looking at them, Zan, Tiva, and Seda standing around this thing, you're looking at this hole that leads down into the sewer system. You look back to see these buildings crumble, these Modrons march, and you see one, and then a second, and then a third of these black figures come around the corner. They all drop down to one knee, pulling back their crossbows in their hands and lift them up to take aim.
Oh shit! Drag me in there! Drag me in there!
That's right. Well, listen.
Oh, you change your tune now, don't you?
And does everybody head down the hole, I'm going to assume?
Yeah, anywhere to get away from those guys, yes.
All right. They're going to at least fire off. There's 3 of them, so I'll just do 1 on each. But you're going down the hole, so I'll give you half cover, so +4 AC. So let's see. Zan, this one on you. Nope, it didn't. It was close. I got a 16. And Tiva, no. And Seda, I got a 19, 20. And yours is 16. So actually, yes, that one does hit you, Seda. For only 2 points of damage. Because it just clips your shoulder as you drop down this thing. It takes a little bit of work. You're able to lower this warrior down the pit, trying to be as careful as you can. All of your movement is going to be halved for the time being, Zan, being that your whole back end is completely crushed at the moment. Well, at least one side of it. You got 3 legs, basically.
Great. Goodness.
Huron,
yeah.
will look at you for a moment. This bit of panic on his face as he looks around. Says, "We need to hurry. Help the warrior." And he will start leading you through these tunnels. You can see down in below the city, everything still quakes and trembles, pipes here and there start to break. The whole area is flooded with this disgusting sludge of water. But completely opposite of this organized square block grid of the city above, the sewers are just knots and Celtic twists of sewers and pipes and what looked to be just stone archways and everything through here. It was made with absolutely no rhyme or reason, completely chaotic in this city that's basically based around order and law. All the while, Huron will remain quiet. Probably, Sada, I'd imagine you're helping Zahn being the stronger one. So Tiva, maybe when you're up a little bit closer next to Huron, you see the whole side of his face. It's just covered in this black grease, and it looks sort of like this gold paint or something has been splattered on bits and pieces of him. And on the back where he got hit by the arrow, you can see it snapped off. Part of the arrow is still in his back shoulder, but that too, all the blood around it is instead like this black ichor that seems to be seeping from the wound. You guys will go for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Are you just going to follow him, or do you do anything? He doesn't really say much to you unless you talk to him.
It was Huron's the one that's got the arrow wound in him?
Yeah.
Well, Tiva's gonna ask, do you, because we're pretty safe here, right?
This is no. The Kakar's men will find us here in no time at all. I'm going to take you back to my place. Since I have a simple gate, we will be safe there. Just keep following me. Be quiet.
She just nods and just continues to follow him.
Was Kakari that scoundrel guy, the Thieves Guild?
This is not necessarily it's the Kakar. Think of them as a guild. It is Legiskrag. It is his guild of men, assassins, murderers, killers, what have you, that prowl the Undercity.
What do they want from you?
I do not know. You can see this sort of like he actually may know what's going on, but he just doesn't want to say anything. He says, "No, we need to be quiet. Be quiet. Just follow me."
Yeah, hobble along.
He'll take you through these twists and turns. You'll see other people running along in different areas trying to get out of the way of things. And as the further and further that you run from this area, you can still feel the pounding quakes and everything of this army that's going through up above. But it starts to, you can feel you're getting further and further away from where their main area of the town is that they're moving through, until it's just like this constant, steady drum and vibrations. Finally, he'll turn a corner and you see the stone archway that's sort of branched off from the main sewer systems and stuff. It's about 4 feet high, about 4 feet wide, just stone, very intricately carved. And he'll come around the corner and he grabs a hold of you, Sadie, and pushes you forward. He says, "That grate, it's just a simple grate. If you're strong enough to pull it off, just grab a hold of it and give it a rip." And you'll see, Seda, it is just basic, like almost like bars that go across this opening to the other side of the tunnel. But it definitely has like a metal frame around it. And it looks like it's something you could grab a hold of and give a good rip to pull free.
All right. Well, then I will do just that.
While you're getting that, he'll grab Vendrick and pull him over. Give me a strength check, Seda.
I got a 3 under a 17.
Oh yeah, this thing's like ripping paper. Grab a hold of these bars, old, rusted up a little bit, and you can see that this grate has been pried off many times before, and it looks like somebody just kind of keeps jamming it back into place. And you give it a quick yank, and it starts to break free. You can give it a few tugs, and it'll pull free without a problem. But Mac, or Huron, will grab a hold of Vendrick and pulls him over, and you see he's right beside you, Seda and Tiva. He'll reach up, and he grabs a hold of where his eye, this whole side of his face is sort of burnt and sort of sooty, greasy covered, and he just reaches in and with a rip, he grabs a hold of what's this eye that's in his head and just rips it free from the socket. You can see the nerve endings of this eye on the back end is dangling. This blood, well, it doesn't even look like blood. It just looks like black, greasy ichor just pours down the side of his face. Can Seda Tiva and Zahn give me a search check.
Mm-hmm.
Or 5.
No.
It's a 1d6 and then equal to or less than the number of pips that are marked.
3.
So you need 3 or less.
I got a 3.
Right. So as he does this, Tiva, you'll notice that this black ichor, it's not blood. It just looks like almost grease and stuff. But as he rips this free, you get that brief view for just a second of like inside of his skull area and stuff. And you can just see winding gears and pistons and other things in the back, all this clockwork stuff in the back of his skull before it starts to cloud over and this black ichor just pours forth down the side of his face. And with that, he shoves this eyeball into Vendrick's hand. He'll turn and you see this brief glint of silver, and then all of a sudden this intense pain rockets across your hand, Seda, as you grab a hold of these bars, and then you watch one of your, I'm going to say your pointer finger, just completely severed off, and it drops to the ground. Right beside you, you can see Huron. He says, "It's for your own safety." And he grabs a hold of Seda and Vendrick, I guess are the two that are right there, and he gives you a shove. Zahn and Tiva, you see that as soon as he hits Seda's finger with this glint of steel, it looks like a simple little blade that he has in his hand. This grate that she was grabbing a hold of to rip off swirls in this mass swirling of cover as the dwarf's blood spills across it. And then both Vendrick and Seda, you guys just feel complete lightlessness, like you're falling through the air as you're shoved forward. Zantiva, you guys would see as he pushes them through this portal that has been opened up. He says, "It needs dwarf blood. Hurry up, hurry up."
I stare first at that eye, then at the blood, and then I just let myself fall forward.
And Tiva gasps and shouts, "You're not alive. You're one of them."
He shakes his head. No, no, no. And he'll have that book that Vendrick had as well, and he shoves that into your hands. Tiva says, "Give it to the mage." He says, I'll be in touch soon. And he just shoves you forward as well, trying to get you to go.
Okay, so she was about to ask a question, but then got interrupted as she's getting shoved.
So
as the last one through, Tiva, you'll see one arrow, a second, a third, and then a fourth just slam into the back of Mech or Huron. And then a fifth is this group of people. It looks like maybe 7, 8 of them, just more coming around the corner, all in these black suits, just loading him full of bolts.
Dang.
Wow.
Did it hurt when he, like, was it painful when he cut the finger?
Just take 1 hit point of damage. I'm sure it stung like a bitch, but
Okay.
as soon as
one of those things where like he cuts me, but just like you're just like, oh, that's not, you know.
with your adrenaline going at the moment, you might not notice it until you go to grab your axe next time, and it's a little awkward. Or when you go to point at Tiva and it's just a stub.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, I just want to make sure it wasn't like an illusion or something.
Oh no, it's definitely you lost your index finger.
Oh, that son of a bitch. He and I are gonna have a chat.
If he survives. And so now we're all together again. Tiva's gonna let the party know what she saw when he pulled his eye off, and she's gonna let him know he wasn't human. He wasn't alive. He was one of those mechanical things.
Yeah, I'll worry about that later.
And then she's got the book, right?
Yes.
Oh, is this the book that talks?
Yes, it is.
Does he talk to Tiva?
Not at the moment.
Oh, dang it. All right, so she looks at the book and she's kind of shaking it. She's like, okay, I guess I'll give it back. So she hands the book back over to
Always shake the book first.
yeah, I'll kind of shake the book because is anybody in there? But then she gives it back over to Vendrick. Say, here's your book, Vendrick.
I look around. Where are we?
So there's this sense of just falling. Everything around you is black for a moment, and then it sort of goes through the colors of the rainbow, but it starts to fade over into this reddish sort of color that turns into a more purple, then a blue, greenish, yellow, orange, and then it fades in almost to like a white, and it feels like you're falling for several minutes. And then there's just this heavy thud, like it you've jumped out of a tree and landed on the ground. So no pain or anything, just like a heavy thud onto the ground. And everything around you starts to slowly come into focus, blurry at first. But you're greeted by the stench of oily metal shavings and the air that is heavy with smog and dust. The ground at your feet is muddy, greasy, and soaked with befouled water, with a putrid rainbow surface. So it looks like oil has been just covering the ground, and water it has that iridescent sort of look to it, rainbows of colors. Trickles of the water spread like tiny rivers, and miniature lakes sprout in your footprints as you stand up. Each step, you can just see the water soak into each of these footprints. The landscape around you is rough, hewn, and desolate expanse of small hills and mountains in the far, far distance, all capped with a thick gray smog. I need a savor's poison from everybody. These dark, sooty clouds make the breathing really difficult, and with each breath, it just burns at your lungs, at your throat. Your tongue seems to get this oily, thick mucus across it that you have to spit out every now and then.
I made it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a 18 over 6.
And I got an 18 over 16.
All right. All of you are good for the time being. And there's this intense heat and humidity. It just begins to sweat right through your clothes, through your armor. And if you look up, you can see these thick black clouds. It always seems to be threatening rain. Every now and then you'll get a drip here and there. But you get the sense that you don't want it to rain, that this acid rain and whatnot is just going to make things worse. And what do you guys do?
Of course, why should this be a nice forest with pixies? As I try to get up and hobble along with 3 legs. Where are we? Didn't he call this his place?
Don't you have what is your special ability? You have
I
one
have
of those
portal
sense?
portal sense, yeah.
All right, give me a check on that and see if you can get an idea of.
Oh yeah, I made it.
Sweet. So you look around and you don't recognize the area, but you thinking back through different studies and stuff, and you look back and you don't see where this portal was on this side. It looks like it was a one-way portal of some sort, but there's still this residual magic that seems to skip through the air, and you can breathe it in a little bit, figure it out. You recognize this area as what is called Carryamore. It is a area which would be to the northwest. Nope, I'm sorry, the northeast of the Outlands, an area that is known to be very much inhabited by strange alien-like beings, large speaking eyeballs, and what they call vile gnomes, which are actually a dwarf race that is just completely disgusting, vile, evil. They mine the earth for everything that it's possibly worth and destroy it and leave it polluted before moving on.
So I stop in my tracks and I'll look at the others. So I have good news and bad news. The good news are we're not in Pandemonium. The bad news is we're almost as fucked.
Well, that's pretty bad news. Zeta would just kind of look around, get up off the oily dirt, and notice that her finger's missing.
If you do look, it looks like it was nice, clean cut. It's still a little bit bloody, but it's been cauterized. Probably stings a little, but it's not like, at risk of infection or anything.
She'd wrap it up because she wouldn't know that. And probably a little tearful at the fact that she now only has 4 fingers on her left hand, and somewhat aggravated, and just kind of wrap it up and just sit there and just be like, well, yes, like I said the last time, this. She would just look at Zahn and be like, how do you live here in this place? This place is just the worst.
I don't live here.
Well,
I don't live here. I ended up. It's like you going through that window of the tavern. Remember? I don't live here. I don't want to be here. And I want to get out of here. This is terrible.
And every place that's even connected to the place you do live is just sucks.
Well, it's not always like this.
I hope not.
Can I discern the direction to the next outpost? I mean, the Outlands would be in the middle, right?
Yeah, that whole area is kind of like the Outlands, but yeah.
But where the outposts are, like...
Hold on, let me get my map. I can tell you what the closest one is. Let me just bring it up on my computer. I know I have it right there. Let's see. The closest to where your figure you are at would be... They need to get better maps for Planescape. You would be out near Zeos, which would be basically north. It'd be on the eastern side of the Outlands, right on the edge.
Is that good? Or is that bad?
No, it's basically the one that leads into Limbo.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, dang. Where's the next outpost I would know of that is not total clusterfuck?
Miles and miles to the north.
Oh, Christ.
So as you look around trying to get this, you can see the ground itself almost seems to move with its own sort of life beneath your feet. And Seda, as you pick yourself up off the ground and you're looking around, you feel this sting. You look down to see what looks to be a beetle about the size of your thumb starting to bury itself into your shin, into the flesh that's exposed on your skin. And it's just like this lump that's moving up underneath your skin, up your leg. More and more of these things start to pull themselves up from the dirt, scurrying across as swarms of these things start to emerge.
This was on my leg?
On your leg.
Well, she's going to rip a dagger out and dig it out right now.
Oh my God.
Right. Just deal 1d4 damage to yourself.
And scream.
I start screaming with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a good idea that you chose Lamentations for this.
And around you, more and more of these things just sort of pull themselves up underneath the dirt. They look like beetles about the size of your thumb or so. These large mandible scarabee thingies that come off their face. Some of them crawling towards you, other ones crawling over top. What do you guys do?
Okay,
Move.
do them off me. We got to get out of here now.
Sadie's going to start trying to light a torch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you can.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Don't do it.
What, a torch?
Yeah. Bugs don't like fire.
That is very true. Do you light a torch, Seda?
Well, I mean,
Don't drop it.
I
have a bad feeling.
I'm going to try to light one if I can.
Being the first intensive thing you think about, you see Zahn and Tiva start to run to get out of here. You got this covered, you know. You grab your torch from your sack and your flint and strike a thing, and you just see flames race across the ground as everything just starts to go up into flames. The air itself even seems to burn around you.
Oh, shit.
Well, I didn't think it would happen unless I put it on the ground.
Everybody give me a save versus breath.
Oh, shit. What a horrible trip.
I didn't think it was that oily.
I actually hear her saying that. I didn't make it, of course.
I didn't make it.
I made it.
I lost a leg. I lost my face, basically. I lost my fur. And now it's burned away.
Right, well, if you made it, you're going to take 2 points of damage. If you failed, you take 4.
Well, then I'm at a -1 now.
Oh,
Guess who's unconscious again?
damn it, you two.
Oh.
I need death rolls from both of you, please. Give me a 1d20 roll.
1d20.
I'm going
6. Or is it a 9? Hang
I
on.
got a 7.
Yeah, 6.
Nice.
Don't say that.
Give me a 1d6 roll, Azan.
Uh-huh. 5.
Ooh. So, Seda, as you look over, you see Tiva and Zan get caught in the blast of this. And it's just that almost like a mini explosion that just rocks through. More of these flames kind of erupt around you. They die down quickly, but the whole air itself just goes up in this blast of heat and wave as it starts to clear. You look not too bad. You might have a few singed hairs and stuff like that. Zan is once again on the ground, and you can see that whole area that Zephyr had cleaned up on his back leg has just split right back open. And then you see the swarm of these small beetles just pile into this open wound, digging through her flesh. You have you're going to end up with, after a couple hours anyway, a massive infection in your leg, which means you are unable to naturally heal above 1 hit point for 5 days. And Tifa, what did you roll for a 1d20?
A 7.
Give me a 1d12 roll.
I got a 6.
You look over at Tiva. You can both give yourself 1 hit point as well because you're not dead. So she lies on the ground. Her right arm is just covered in 3rd-degree burns. The flesh peeled off and this all congealed underneath. You cannot use your right arm for 6 days. It's just basically just completely out of commission.
As I turned my head, like, and Seda gets into my field of view, you see my eyes widen, and I start screaming, "Ah! Ah!" Stay away.
Well, the fire should have at least made the bugs go away.
Yeah, most of them, yeah. They found a really safe place in her leg at the moment.
Oh my goodness. Oh no!
Zephyr and Vendrick did not make it out much better either. Both of them took some damage. I'm not sure of their hit points, but you can see these wounds, these burn things, covered them. As they both probably, especially Vendrick, would give you a scowl there, Seda. But
all of us without eyebrows.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tiva looking at her arm, looking at Seda. I said we should just run.
I was trying to make the bugs go away, and I didn't think that would happen unless I put it on the ground.
Ah!
I don't know what y'all are complaining about. I've only lost 7 hit points.
So, as I try to get up again, do we see some kind of stony, not structure, but something stony where there is no yuck on it? Or maybe even a cave or something like that?
With no bugs.
With the bugs. Yeah, it's sort of quiet for the moment. There's still a few bugs scurrying around. You can feel them kind of crawling around on the inside of your mangled thighs on this tickling sensation. But as you look up ahead, it looks like miles and miles of distance, right on the edge of these mountains. You can definitely see what looks to, at least it looks like a civilization or a town or something. It's hard to tell from where you're at, but you can definitely see where things have been scoped out and modeled up in the distance right on the edge of these mountains as some sort of habitat or something. Other than that, it's just hills and mountains all the way around. You don't see anything else within the immediate area.
I don't care if they are cannibals. We are going there. That point in that direction.
Zephyr would nod. He does not have any more healing things to help you guys at the moment, but he will begin plodding in that direction. Vendrick as well in silence. And all of you slowly begin to move This
Seda
ground. Go ahead.
They say that walks pretty much with her head down, not speaking to anyone.
And then I need a save versus paralyzation from everybody.
Oh God!
No.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, I got a 16 over 8.
I got
Nice.
5 under 14.
All right. So failure. You guys are going to have -2 dex, temporary.
You guys,
As you move through this, a half hour passes in an hour. This hard to begin breathing in all of this smog and poisonous stuff. But what seems to be more and more frustrating are these tiny metal slivers that start digging through your boots, through your hooves, and getting into the soles of your feet. So every step, you can just feel them digging deeper and deeper into your feet. The pain, constant annoying, that just gets worse and worse, like metal shavings basically digging themselves into your feet. So you have a -2 dex until you're able to get a full rest and pry all of these things out of your feet.
Oh my God! I thought Max said this was supposed to be a safe place.
Yeah.
As you plod across this fetid, disgusting, polluted grounds, you can feel your boots getting heavier and heavier with mud and these metal shavings. The sky seems ready to burst forth with rain at any moment, and it almost has this dark cloud-like color, but it's almost green. The only further by the drop of rain as it spatters on Zan's horn with a resounding hiss, and it leaves a little trail of smoke.
Oh.
Up ahead, as you come around part of this little mound that you cross and getting closer to this thing in the distance, you spot what looks to have once been a building, but it's now sunken deep into the ground that might offer some potential shelter. In the distance off to your left, occasionally, as you look around some more, you see a few more smaller holes here and there that have been dug into the ground. They look like they might have been leading into old mining shafts or something. But the big building that's off to your left, it looks like it was once a 3-4 story sized tower, but the whole thing leans at about a 45-degree angle and it's been sunken into the mud. And it looks like it's just in complete ruins, partly crumbled. Then another drop and another drop as they tip down, some burning into your armor, some burning your hair.
I try to walk faster, as if this is a haven, and I peek inside. Is there a space that is just stone and not yuck?
It's probably about 300-400 yards away. Is that where you're headed? Is over to the building?
Yeah. As fast as I can, because I think I will lose my horns now too.
And everybody else is following?
yes.
Okay. So, Zan, as you sort of take the lead and head over to this thing, you come up and you can see what would actually be the door to this place, whatever is deep under the ground, sunken at the part that's sunken down underneath. But the side that is still up above the ground has a large archway that was once a window. It's completely shattered out now, but it leads to the inside. As you prepare to step forward and look into this shelter, you can see a tall figure emerges from the entrance. The skin surrounding its huge, white, pupilless eyes is sallow and brown with a slight hint of violet to it. These 4 tentacles hanging from its face flail around wildly.
Oh, God.
And below where you would expect to see its nose and mouth is just this mass tentacle, but it looks extremely sickly, really, really thin, frail. Bits and pieces of these tentacles and its head bulge out in weird cancerous growth. It wears very nice finery silken gowns, but they're filthy with mud and ooze. And it stumbles towards you. You see it lift this hand up, and it has 3 fingers, each ending in like a skull or a claw. And it brings it up to its head and holds its face. And suddenly, with a burbling squeal, this thing's features are drawn inward upon itself. Its head crumples, an eye explodes inwards. A tentacle is drawn into where its mouth would be, like a slurping of pasta. You hear this bulbous head explode, and just gore splatters across the ground and around everybody.
I look accusingly at Seda.
She just kind of looks wide-eyed and like, I don't know what, I didn't do anything, and then just looks back at the thing.
And as that happens, there's this crack of thunder that rolls across the sky. It just sounds like it was just overhead, blaring into your ears. And as that starts to fade away, you hear this chiming sound come from Zephyr's pack for just a brief second. And then the rain just bottoms out and it just pours.
I jump through the archway. I don't care for that creature. Bloody hell.
Zephyr and Vendrick will also jump through with her. And Seda and Tiva, are you guys jumping in or are you waiting outside?
No.
I mean,
Jump through.
yeah, I'm not gonna stay in here by myself.
And actually, I have a cool picture, a little show-up picture of this thing for you, so you can always see what it looks like as well. Let's see. I always share a bit of this beautiful
Yes, please.
Planescape artwork. Give me just a sec to find it. Right there. Let's see. I'll just put it right into the Facebook chat for you. Just because Planescape artwork is awesome. Nice.
Oh
All
my
right.
god. Is that a mind flayer?
It is.
Oh, okay.
If you want to give me an intelligence check, you can see if Zahn would recognize what it is.
Yeah. No. Of course,
No.
now I roll high.
Would Seda or Tiva have any clue what a mind flayer is?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Dwarves might, would they?
Oh yeah, dwarf very well could. Why don't you go ahead and give me? Not that your intelligence is great, but you know.
I got to get under it, right?
Yeah.
No, got a 12 over 7.
It looks like an octopus man. You've heard about them in the dark, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of you jump in through this window, and all around you is just this one huge circular room. And it's at a 45-degree angle, though, but there's nothing in the room besides just a stone floor, and then a stairway that leads up to a second floor above. But it's got to go up the stairway to a hatch, and then it opens up. But the room that you're in is just completely empty. There's nothing here besides the stairway. Outside, you can see this rain just pound down as a torrential storm hits. Thunder, lightning crackles overhead, and the whole ground just starts to rise with this thick, noxious green-colored smoke as the acid rain just pours down.
I lovingly touch the floor, which is not yucky, and this is the best thing I've seen for a long time now.
You can see, probably Seda more than anybody offhand, but this place looks like it was very, very well crafted, most likely by dwarves looking at the craftsmanship. And the building itself, while holding together perfectly, it's just matter that it's sinking into this disgusting earth slowly by slowly over the years. But as far as sturdiness and soundness, it's solid as a rock.
So the room is completely empty that we're in
Yep,
right
it
now?
is about 90 feet in diameter around you. And yeah, there's no furnishings, nothing. It's just a stone floor with a stairway that spirals around the outside, sort of at that weird, awkward angle up to a hatch up above that leads up to whatever's up above. If you guess, say you'd probably figure you're on what would be the second floor of this building, but you don't see any access to a floor that's below you.
Okay.
Do we want to maybe take a peek through the hatch?
I don't peek at anything. No. And I'm sitting on my butt, and I refuse to move. And I look outside through the archway, and I mutter, "We have to wait until this stops, and then we have to get out of here. This is terrible. What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Why? Why?"
Well, that Seda would immediately like look around and try and determine do we look like we're in an area of relative safety?
Yeah, you don't see anything outside, just this disgusting rain that's coming down. But otherwise, there's nothing else around you. You don't sense anything either. It looks as safe as you're going to find here at the moment.
What happened to Octopus Man?
He just completely exploded outside. You can still see the blood spears and the bits of tentacle and flesh, purplish colored flesh and cancerous growths everywhere.
So she would like help Tiva over like to the wall on the floor next to Zahn, and just take the pack of the bacon that she had and whatever's left of it, and just set it in their lap, and then just take her axe and go stand at the doorway and just stand guard and not say anything to anyone.
And I, after a few minutes of calming down, I take my pack and I take out a piece of parchment and a pen, like a coal pen or something, and I start drawing. And it takes probably a few hours, and he starts over again and over, and finally, after some time, he looks at Seda, narrows his eyes, and says, "Biter, here, look at this."
She walks over and looks at the paper.
And you see on that parchment a mechanical contraption he has drawn on there, and it basically looks like a table with 4 rolls on it. And you see that he drew himself, or like a scheme or a ghost of a barrier over that table, which is supposed to be fit under his belly, so he can can walk without his hind legs. You know, like that dog on YouTube who has no legs on the back. He has that little skateboard, so he can still move.
Yes, set of wagon wheels.
Yeah. Because this doesn't feel good in my leg, and I'm with 3 legs. Maybe I'm a little bit too slow, and yeah, that's my solution.
As you stare at Zahn for the moment, you can see this bump, sort of maybe down here in his chest, and it slowly crawls up part of his neck,
God,
across part of his cheek, and then kind of disappear back in again.
I just scratch my face a little bit, and I'll look at her. What do you say?
Shada looks at the paper and then sees the bump moving and starts to go and grab her dagger, and then realizes that this is probably not a good idea. And then looks back at it, makes an assumption that Zahn wants her to try and build this thing. And so then she just kind of rolls it up and sticks it in her pocket and nods, and then goes back to guarding the door until the rain stops.
And then he collapses.
As Zahn sleeps behind and Tiva rests for the moment, you stand guard at this doorway. The rain seems to continue on hour after hour, and it starts to get a little bit of a sense of worry, Seda, as you watch this, and you see this green, thick, nasty fog that's coming off the ground, getting thicker and thicker. And then it starts to sort of roll across the land. The breezes outside pick up, the rain still refusing to stop. And then this thick, poisonous fog starts to drift through by your feet a little bit into this room. And then more and more of it as it starts to slowly fill up this room.
Does this room have a door that I can close?
Nope, just this window, basically, that you're in, which is shattered out.
Does it stink?
You Yeah, you probably start to wake up to the smell of rotting eggs and oil and gagging.
I think he starts crying in a manly way. And then I peek at that stairwell going a little bit more up the pseudo tower.
Your eyes glance across this kind of awkwardly diagonal stairwell. And as your eyes come to rest at this hatch that's up above you, there's this high-pitched wailing sound that just echoes from up above. Almost sounds like a scream of agony or pain. And then another, and this whatever's up there just wails and wails.
It sounds like somebody's up there or something.
Oh, really?
I try to light a torch.
No. Oh my God. And Tiva hobbles over to her.
I'm just
Don't
kidding.
die.
It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm not. Well, she goes. Sadie would turn and look and said, "Do you want me to go see what it is?" I don't know what to do. Like that.
Oh.
Yeah, but what if what's up there is worse than what we've run into in the past?
We can't stay here. Look at this. As I blow away a little bit of fume.
Yeah, more and more of this starts to drift in as the winds seem to pick up outside. And it's just blowing this noxious, toxic, acidic fumes into this room, slowly filling it up. It sits heavy on the low on the ground, but it's definitely picking up more and more.
Does Seda have a shield?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but she hasn't been using it too much. So Sada's going to run up the stairwell real fast to go see what the room, try and peek and see what the room up above looks like.
So move up these stairs, and Tiva, and Zahn, Zephyr, and Vendrick would have to follow a little bit, start moving up these stairs as this thick fog just begins to fill the room below. At the top, Sadie, you reach these, and the door that's up there, it's basically a hatch in the ceiling. It's not even locked or anything. As you give it a little bit of push, it just starts to flip open. Up above, you can see it's a whole nother room. Do you go up, or you can still hear that wailing too? It's just louder since you open the doorway up to there. You can hear that it's coming from someplace over to your left.
Can I see into the room at all?
If you stick your head up out of there, yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick my head up because I want to see if there's any of that green stuff up there.
As you pull yourself up, nope, the room does not have this thick fog. It looks like it's high enough up off the ground that isn't drifting in. You can even see over to the side a couple of these windows, and they still have the glass panes that are there, so the fog kind of rolls against it, but it doesn't seep through. Then as you turn and you look to the left, you can see a room. It's the same size as the one below, about 90 feet in diameter, but there's stone pillars, 13 of them in equal distance all the way around the room, sort of like a 13-handed clock type thing. And right in the very center of this room is a large dais. Kneeling on the dais, you see another one of these sickly mauve, tentacle-visaged sort of creatures, and it shudders while it seems like great pain and just lets out these wails after wails of pain. One of its large white eyes has gone black with blood, and it just pours down the side of its face. And more dark fluid seeps amid the tentacles, perhaps from a mouth underneath these things or something. And as you watch, dark hemorrhages appear, like large cancerous growth, part of it on the side of its face, and then it'll burst forth. And you see, when it breaks open, all these white little maggot-like tadpole things just spill forth down onto this dais, and you can hear them plop into, sounds like it's almost the inside of this dais is like a fountain or a water or something. And then another large cancerous growth on its chest will bulge out and then split and pour down. And then all of you will start to hear this burbling, gurgling sort of whispering in the back of your head. And this thing will turn its head, being only that you can see you at the moment, Seda, but it senses all of you. It says, "Dead. The god is dead. The secrets are lost, and it is slain Mayon Zakarian. And then with that, this whole thing, it just hemorrhages everywhere and splits apart into this blast of black ichor flesh and tiny little maggots just splatter across the floor, the dais, and across the room.
What happens in there? I heard voices.
Nothing. And then this time I actually am going to light a torch. And I'm going to actually go in there and try and burn all those maggots up.
Everybody gives me a save versus magic.
Shit.
Do you have to... So I have 14 in magic, and I rolled a 14.
Nope, so you're good.
Okay.
I got a 5 under a 10.
You are not good.
I got a 9.
I guess it's finally my turn.
And so I have a 9 under 14.
So you get this weird sense on, like this flash in the back of your brain, but nothing really comes of it. On the other hand, Seda and Tiva. Seda, you see, it's just this weird, brief, almost like you remember something or you've just learned something. But for whatever reason, immediately at the forefront of your brain, the words spill out of your mouth. Javer favors his youngest son over the eldest. And Tiva, as you look over at Seda's, looks like this weird face kind of contorts as she hears this. You two all of a sudden just realize something. And you know that porcupine fish feed on shellfish and coral. And it's just like this strange fact or information you just can't help but blurt forth.
I'm sorry, I was taking notes. You said Javer favors the youngest son?
Over the eldest.
Okay.
A blowfish eat shellfish, or what?
Porcupine fish feed on shellfish and coral.
Oh. And they say that?
Yep. And Zan, as you look at these two, kind of curious or whatever, the words, Madarn is against killing the cat, spill forth from your mouth.
I look embarrassed.
And Seda and Tiva, you guys have -1 intelligence temporarily until you rest.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
That's the last thing I need is to be dumber. Now I can actually say intelligence. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
And Seda, as you step up into this room, you can see that in the very center is this large, round, looks like a fountain. It stands about 3 feet high. The inside of it is filled with absolutely disgusting, black, scummy water that's just swimming with tiny little maggots. Some of the ones on the floor, if you look down close, they look probably about an inch long or so. This large bulbous head, you can see these tiny little teeth where its mouth would be, and they look like tadpoles, like frog tadpoles, but white. They look like sperm.
Ugh.
And they're just wiggling everywhere across the ground and just swarming over each other in this thick, black, goopy water.
I peek inside and seeing all those spatters, would I realize that another creature exploded?
Yeah, you'd see bits and pieces of it around, and it looks much like the one before it.
So seeing those tadpoles, would I think that maybe something similar will happen to me with my bug problem?
That's totally up to you. You can make an intelligence check to see, maybe.
Okay. Oops. Yeah, I made it.
Yeah.
One.
No, you don't get the sense that these things were impacted by the bugs outside or anything like that. It looks like something more related to the creatures themselves. So actually, as you walk across part of this floor and you reach down part of this thing's robes. It's still covered in this disgusting goop or whatever, but you can see when they lift it up that it has a strange it looks like a symbol of a god or something on it. You don't recognize who it's from or what god it is, but it's definitely religious robes of some sort that this thing was wearing, and you get the sense that it must have been a high-ranking priest or a proxy of some sort of god.
I heard a voice saying that the god is dead. You know, you started something really bad when you killed the halfling god, you know that?
You don't think it could be related, do you?
I don't know, this is all really weird, and it seems to be... This is more than a coincidence that we're always in the middle of it. It's either you or it's the gods.
At this point, Seda is about one intelligence point away from being completely invalid. What she's doing is taking the torch and basically walking around the floor, trying to just mashing the torch into the floor, trying to kill all the little maggots everywhere because she doesn't want them to get on Zahn because of what happened the last time. And while she's doing it, she just goes, Javer favors the youngest son over the eldest. just keep smashing the maggots.
Each one you step on and walk across, they just pop and just splatter this black goop across the floor.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
Oh man. Is there a part of the room that's not yucky?
Well, the whole room itself is kind of gross, but it's, like I said, about 90 feet in diameter, and there's 13 pillars, all equal distance around each other. And then what you assume would be the north, south, east, and west has a large arched window that leads to the outside. All of them still have the glass intact. You can see this thick greenish smoke that kind of rolls by outside. Over to the side, TV probably might want to flip that hatch closed. You start to see fog drifting up the stairwell. The dais that's in the center of the room as you walk by that, Zahn, it is 15 feet in diameter in the very center and filled, it's about 3 feet high and filled with really disgusting black, soupy mixture swimming with maggots or whatever these things are. Sort of like maggots on flesh. It just undulates and twists in upon itself. And over in between the north and the west window, the wall, even though it's sort of circular around, the wall right here seems to be built out a little bit, and there's a large tapestry that hangs, and it pictures one of these tentacled creatures as well. It shows 4 of them standing, 2 of them kneeling, 2 of them behind it, and then this really strange, it looks like a giant brain with tentacles waving out from it in the background.
This is not art, I say, as I position myself between 2 globs of yuck.
Give me a portal sense, Zahn.
Uh-oh. Oh, wrong die. Hang on. No, I didn't make it.
Looking at this thing, you're not sure if it itself is a portal. You kind of get the sense it might be, but you definitely know that the background of where this place is pictured or what it is looks like it's one of the hellish sort of landscapes, perhaps Gehenna or one of the other, the Abyss, something of that sort.
Yeah, guess what? I'll leave that alone. I mentioned that to Zephyr and Vendrick, though, that this might be a portal, but...
let me give Vendrick, he might... Oops, oh, yeah. Vendrick would kind of glance this thing over and nod. It is indeed a portal. It looks like it's a one-way portal from, he thinks, Gehenna to here. So going through wouldn't be an issue, but whatever's on the other side could come through to here. And it was recently activated probably about an hour and a half ago.
Oh.
So we wouldn't be able to go through it.
Right. One way from there to here. Yep.
And we don't want to. But
yeah.
But this is not good.
Well, so Tiva sits there, just kind of touching her arm every now and then, since she's in a lot of pain. And she asks, why would Mech say this is safe? this is not safe. It would be maybe safe for him because he's not human. He's not a human creature. So what about this place is supposed to be safe? Did he tell any of you directions on where to go? I mean, Zephyr and Vendrick, you were with him. Did he happen to say anything to you about where to go?
No, Vendrick and Zephyr sort of look at each other, and he didn't say anything. Vendrick will still have the eye probably in his pack and show you that he has that. He has the book. And actually maybe goes silent for a few moments. You can tell that he's trying to talk to book or whatever, but he just shakes his head. The book does not answer.
What about the eye that he gave you?
What of it?
Can you inspect the eye? Is there a clue on it?
He'll hold it up. It's squishy and goopy. Let me give him a...
Why would he?
I'm just saying intelligence.
His eye?
It says, I do not know what to do with it right now. I'll have to study it.
Maybe you can sense through the eye where we are.
Perhaps. Sort of look at it. He doesn't... Yeah, it didn't roll quite good, so he doesn't really get the idea of why he has it yet or what to do with it. He'll flip open book and flip through the pages, but again, he doesn't hit. Giran mentioned that he would help decipher the book, but it still looks the same. Anybody of you guys who are looking at it just looks like jumbled letters and strange calligraphy and stuff. You can't make out a word it says. And this seems to be the same thing for Vendor because he just shakes his head. He's not quite sure at the moment. I will study it tonight while you all rest. Perhaps I will come up with something.
Mayday goes and extinguishes her torch in the water of the dais once she gets all the maggots done. And
Vendrick will actually, as soon as you do that, he looks over and he puts his hand up and he points at you, Seda, and he says, Dleniakris va ananolith.
And she would look at him and say, bless you.
Then he'll sort of have this confused look on his faces. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, this is... We have to get out of here. Fast. And I peek out of the window. How's the rain doing?
It's still pouring down. You can see these lightning streaks crash down across the ground, and it seems like this lightning, the energy just zips across the ground with all these metal shavings and this water. Bits of fires in the distance that have been started up. It's not looking good outside at all.
Oh, man. I close my eyes and I try to rest for a little bit, not knowing that I can't heal. Wake me up when the rain stops.
Get naturally healed.
Yeah,
get naturally. Zephyr would mention if you guys are able to take a bit of a rest, he'll have a few spells that he can help you with, Zon, but it's going to take a normal 8-hour rest for him to be able to get everything back.
Yeah.
So, Seda, is there only one door into this room?
Yep.
Seda would say, well, this is as good a place as any. And she'd go stand by the door. If that's what everyone wants to try to do.
Is there any other things like in the room other than the dais? Is there anything else?
Let's see, the tapestry, the pillars. As you walk around, all the pillars, they are all basic stone pillars, about 3 foot in diameter up to the rooftop. And if you look up to the roof, you can see it's just basic, very nice, beautiful craftsmanship. It looks like some sort of marble that's been carved over top, almost like a lid on this tower. But each pillar itself has a different rune inscribed in it. It looks completely alien to you. But outside of that, it is it.
Would Vendrick maybe recognize the runes on the pillar?
No, he does not. Let's see if Zephyr does. And Zephyr does not as well. Neither of them do. Say, look, and
Y'all are just useless.
Vendrick. Oh, actually, Zephyr got a little better. He would point out that they do not look magical. Actually, he has detect magic, so yeah, it doesn't come across as magical at all. That looks like more artful inscriptions or something. Seda, you would notice that they are not, at least from what you know anyway, which ain't much, but they do not look like they're dwarven create. The building looks like it was made out of dwarves, but these inscriptions or these imprints on these pillars look like they were carved in after the building was made, and they do not look dwarven by any means of what you would recognize.
Did you just say the building was made out of dwarves?
Made by dwarves. Although that is a cool building. I might have to remember that.
Oh my goodness. So I would mumble, still my eyes closed. Maybe this is actually a temple, and those were the priests. Did you see those holy symbols? There in that pile of maggots. And I point in the general direction.
If all of you guys want to give me a search check.
Sure. No.
Oh, I got a 1.
Wow.
So Seda is...
Oh, I got a 1 as well.
Oh, well, maybe both of you stumble on it at the same times. I imagine Seda being the not smarter of the two suddenly kind of notices it for whatever reason. But as you look at that tapestry that you also know is a portal, 2 of those creatures, the 2 that are sort of kneeling down, although they all look very much alike, you get the sense that 2 of them are the 2 that you saw. Maybe they have an extra scar or facial makeup or something. All these things look similar, but you do recognize that 2 of them are the same 2 that you saw dead. There's still 2 other ones, and then this weird brain-thickened tentacle thing in the background.
So you're basically saying we saw the main super duper high priest of brain god just explode in front of our eyes. The most powerful clerics of the order.
That is exactly it.
Okay, don't tell me. Oh God.
Is there any writing on the tapestry?
Yes, there's actually all the way around descriptions all the way around it. Same language as whatever's on the. Actually, you guys can all give me a language roll. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
A D6, and usually you have 1 pip.
Yeah, you all, I
think.
believe, pretty sure should only have 1.
Nope.
No. Aw, sad.
He's like, if only what's his name was here.
Nobody got it, I take it?
No.
No.
Neither did the other 2, so yeah. Nope, you're not able to recognize exactly what it is or what it says. It's assumed that it's whatever language these creatures are. It's theirs, but...
She just kind of rubs her head.
There's something missing.
Oh, I suddenly opened my... Oh, no, you didn't tell me. Okay, no. Oh, dang.
Zeta will go back to watching the door.
So outside, this storm rages on. It seems like it just goes on and on. About an hour passes, and then the start of a second. Off to the side, Seda, as you making sure nothing comes up through this doorway, get just this brief look of movement out of the corner of your eye, and you glance over outside this window. Swore you saw something, but as you look, there seems to be nothing there. Another 10, 15 minutes pass, and then there's this heavy slam on this hatchway from the floor below, and it jumps up several feet. it latches from the top side down. So I figure like Tiva, when you closed it, you probably latched it or whatever. But it's like something's trying to get up through, and there's a second slam, and then a third is some of this wood starts to splinter. Anybody who might have been napping or whatever would be jarred awake. Something is below trying to bust through up into this room.
So Seda would ready her axe to cleave into it the minute it pops up through the hatch. She's through playing with these people.
I take out one of my daggers and get ready to throw.
Vendrick will back up. Zephyr will take out his weapon as well. Well, he doesn't have weapons. Go into a stance.
One hand prepped up against her leg.
You stand back. There's another heavy slam, Seda, under this thing, and you see several boards splinter, smash, and then final slam, and the whole thing just completely explodes apart. As you look down, you see this large eye stalk come up out of this hole, and then a second, third, fourth, fifth, and then this huge, about the size of the portal, or this doorway, a little bit smaller, bulbous, looks like just this large basketball, like tumor thing, start squeezing through, and this large eyeball stop and peek up as it starts to come up. All of you, I'm sure, would recognize a beholder as it squeezes its way through this doorway.
What?
Its eyes scanning this entire room, all locking onto him. You see this huge eye, particularly look directly at you, Seda.
I would have dropped my axe the moment the first eye stalk came up. I would have been like, duh! Like that if possible. So.
And it's about 8 feet in diameter. There's 7 eye stalks that stick off of this thing. Looks like it might have had more one time, but it just has scars and stuff where they were. This huge, toothy maw, and it sort of gives this evil, grinning sort of smile as all of its eyes scan around this room and look at all of you. Everybody give me a save versus paralyzation, please.
I think I feigned. Oh, dang. No.
17 over 8.
All right.
Oh.
So, on a success, you are definitely probably scared or whatever the case is, but on a failure, you were just completely and utterly scared stiffless.
I know that already, how that is. Mm-hmm.
And with that, why don't we take like a quick 3-minute break and we can
Dang
up
it!
the second part.
This is awesome, Morgan. It's
Perfect
it's
time.
so terrible. It's so terrible. Be right
It can only
back.
get better, maybe.
I don't know.
Always more down.
Yeah. I don't know. We're pretty far down.
All right. Be back in a minute.
Be right back.
I just realized I rolled a total pussy. Man. You would have been dead now, right?
Basically, yeah.
Jeez.
We are back.
All right. All right. All of you watch as this massive 8-foot diameter bulbous eye thing comes into this room. You'll all recognize it as a beholder. This large central eye is this milky white, putrid sort of yellowish color. Its large black pupil scanning the room, and as it scans across each of you, you're just sunken with fear. As you watch this thing, it'll slowly drift up this small, larger hatchway. It keeps a couple stalks on all of you as it drifts towards the center of the room. It glances into this large circular dais where this thing was with this disgusting water and these maggots. Its large central eye scans over this tapestry behind where Zahn and Tiva stand. And all of you can hear as it speaks and its whole mouth moves. You can hear it rattle in the back of your bone boxes as well as in the room itself, reverberate from its mouth. It says, well, what do we have here? Looks like a cat of greedy cats. What is this? What is this? Where are the others? Speak, damn you. I will gut you where you are. Slurp your intestines like pasta. Where are the Illithids?
So Seda would stop her swimming and be like, where are the who?
All of the eyes will quickly snap around towards you, Seda, as this thing sort of rotates in the air, hovering a couple feet off of the ground, and it floats slowly forward towards you. It says, where are the Illithids, the creatures that were here? What did you do to them?
The octopus men?
Yes.
They exploded.
What do you mean, exploded? How does one explode?
She points at all the...
I know how they explode. Watch this, dwarf. You can see one of these eyes snatches around. Right onto Zahn. This is... I will show you how they explode.
She goes, no, 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 no. And then she points at the maggots on the floor. The burned up maggots.
What of them? They are just but tableaus.
They were inside of the octopus men, and the octopus men blew up, and those came out.
This does not sound very plausible, dwarf. What is your name?
Zeta.
Seda. So if I explode, you will little dwarf tadpoles explode out of you too?
No, they were...
I think we should take this for a test.
No. I have a giant axe, and no. They had big, giant bubbles on their skin, and they said their god is dead, and shellfish eat coral, and then they blew up.
What do you mean the god is dead? Where is Manzakorian?
He said it, and then he blew up. Yeah, because I would just make this up.
One of these eyes will snap forward, and you see this bright flash and spark, and it seems like your whole body glows for a second. Say to give me a save versus magic. It's going to be at a -4, though.
Oh, Jesus.
Or, I guess, +4.
Wait a minute. So I add that 4 to my roll?
No.
No, subtract it. I'm sorry. I'm going backwards as well. Yeah, subtract 4 from your roll.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I failed it by 1.
And you can feel this thing. It's just almost like just scraping on the inside of your brain. You're going to take... Where is it? 7 points of damage, Seda. of its psychic damage, but it just feels like it's ripping apart your thoughts. And for a moment, you have this image of when you were a kid, maybe your parents helping you, trying to teach you some different things, and knowing that you're slower, they're taking the time. It's one of those fond memories that you have of them, and it's just completely ripped clean. You can't even remember what your father's face quite looked like, and you can't remember your mom's voice anymore. You stumble back a few. Its eyes will narrow at you. Seems like you know what you're talking about, dwarf. Where are the others, then? There's still 2 more of the creatures. Where did they go?
So she would Seda would, of course, scream at the brain pain, and she would point at the tapestry and say, "It was the ones in the picture. That was the one that exploded." And then she would say, "And there was one outside when we first got here, and he exploded right in front of our face. And we haven't seen a third one." And then she just keeps pointing at the tapestry and said that it was it was those 2 right there, crying and screaming from pain.
It'll shift this huge bulk of a body and start to float across the room, slowly past Tiva, all of the eyes on her at the moment. Give me a save versus magic, Tiva.
I got an 8 under 14. And I have no hit points, so.
Right. Nope. As this eye sweeps over Tiva, you can see this soft bluish color sort of wash over her body. Her skin slightly pales a little bit, and you see the small halfling smile. Tiva, this beholder, is probably the friendliest thing that you've ever met. You have the sense that you just want to be friends with it. And you get, in the back of your head, you know that its name is Blispin.
Blispin?
Blispin. Blzbn.
Boy,
Blispin.
He has no idea what he's in for now.
Mm-hmm. And it'll start to continue to float across the room. It seems like it scans over Zephyr for a moment, and you see his body shudder, and then he just crumples to the ground. Vendrick was able to stand tall against this thing for the moment, but you still see the pain wash across his face. Tiva, you're basically just can't help but follow behind this thing and smile and be its friend at the moment. Till it gets to Zan, and it'll look at your pulsating wound and how disgusting you look at the moment.
My lower lid twitches.
It'll float in very close, and one of these eyes will snap forward, just looking directly into yours. And you see the pupil in this eye is just a plain, pale, white-colored skull. And as you look at it, you see your own visage seem to materialize in this eye, and then blasted. You see all of your fur ripped off, your skin, muscle, till it's just bone crumpled into dust on the ground. This whole vision only takes just a brief moment. You hear this thing's laughter as it echoes through the room. I could have so much fun with all of you. But I have better things to do. Come along, halfling. Come along.
She just looks up at him and smiles. And, okay, I'll come with you.
So Zeta starts to scream, "No, no, no," and "We don't belong here. We just wanted to get out of the rain."
The rain? Why? It won't hurt you any. Go dance and frolic in the rain, dwarf. Give me a... Actually, it's just going to make an attack on you, Seda. And that one will definitely hit you. You're going to take 11 points of damage, Seda, as this blast comes out from its one of these eye stalks and just slams you in the chest. You feel yourself get thrown back, and then give me a dexterity check.
I failed that too.
Feel yourself stumble back under the blast of this thing. You tip back a little bit, and then all of you just hear the shattering of glass as Seda stumbles back, hits this glass window through the force of this magic this thing blasted forth, and just gets thrown out this window.
Yay.
Unfortunately, you were 30 feet up, so you can take 3d6 damage.
Oh my fucking god!
10, 12 points of damage, Seda. You can feel yourself light and then slam into this ground, this breath being blasted from your chest. With a gasp, you can't help but try to breathe in, and all this thick, noxious fumes sucks down your throat. So give me a save versus paralyzation or poison, please.
All I have to say is y'all need to roll some doors because I'm still alive, damn it.
Wow.
Barely. Save versus what?
Poison.
Well, I got a 9/6.
So a good hit burns the inside of your lungs, and you can't help but gasp. You can see flecks of blood splattering from your lips as you sit up, coughing. It feels like you definitely have a couple of broken ribs, and your arms kind of kinked back awkwardly a little bit. All of you upstairs in this building watches this beholder floats forward out this window and starts to float through the sky. As it looks down at you, say that you can just hear it laughing in the back of your skull. Tiva, unfortunately, you can't help at the moment but to dance behind this thing and try to follow it. So give me a dexterity roll to at least maybe try to half the damage as you fall from the window.
Oh, no.
I got a 1.
No, that's good. You want to roll under your dexterity.
Oh, I do? Oh, okay.
Well, still, let's see how. Oh, actually, it wouldn't be too bad. I know you're already down, so it's going to kill you per se, but I only rolled a 3. So why don't you only give me a 1d10 roll so you know you won't actually die from this, but it's still not going to be good.
What did you have?
I had none. I had 0. 1d10. Oh, here we go. I got an 8.
All right. Unfortunately, all of you watch as Tiva skips along, completely oblivious to what she is doing, and just spills forth from this window. Look up, Seda, to see her tumbling over end and just slam into the ground behind you. You hear the sickening snap, and you watch as her left arm kinks underneath her and is just completely, the shoulders ripped out of socket. You ended up on the same one you had last time, so both of your arms are completely useless at the moment. And I need a 1d12 to see how long before your arm is usable.
I just had a 1d12. Let's go. Oh. 11.
11. So I think your other one was like a 6, but this would be your left arm. So for 11 days, you look over, Seda, and see that the shoulder bone is just completely ripped through from her flesh and kinked. Part of it, it's like snapped out, so part of the barn spur comes out, and her arm is caught underneath of her, kind of kinked nastily, just completely busted at the shoulder blade. And you quickly drift. This rain seems to drizzle down around all of you, and this massive beholder just laughs and laughs, slowly fading away as it drifts through the fog and disappears into the fog. The rain slowly lettens up just enough, and this reddish sort of glow from what is kind of the sun drifts through between these thick, greenish, foggy clouds, bathing this whole area in this putrid sort of glow.
Well, I'm going to crawl to grab Tiva again and try and drag her up and out of the poison rain and back into the building and back upstairs away from the noxious fog. And I mean, is there a way that can I try to pull her? Well, you know what? I don't even want to ask. The way this day's been going, I'll probably pull her arm right away from her body.
Yeah, please don't.
Can I help her reset her shoulder? Sure, you can go set it over across the room where you just yanked it off of her body.
Zephyr could try. He'd be better at it than you are.
Yeah, I think that might help her a little bit.
He'll come over and take a look. 50-50 chance. I can give it a shot. It'll hurt like a bitch.
Well, I think we're already at that point.
All right, so succeed, and I'll cut your time in half for you as he resets the bone and stuff. On a failure, it's basically a no-go for you, and Diva. And I failed. I got a 5. So, yeah, best he can, but it's going to be a gnarled arm when it heals. Says that is a bad one to have. It's the best I can do for right now. We got to get someplace safe. And so you'll just glance at the rest of you. We need to rest. We need to get somewhere safe.
She probably Seda would probably at this point start crying, and say that we can't go outside as long as it's raining. It's going to melt everyone's skin off.
Hey, look, it's starting to let up. It's not fully stopped yet, but it's definitely starting to let up. He says, as soon as it's done, we need to hurry. Maybe we can get to that place in the distance, as Zahn pointed out. You can see it's probably about 2 miles away yet.
Is my paralyzation still going?
Yeah, a couple turds probably are left on the ground behind you, but it's starting to come up.
Okay, as soon as it stops, I faint. I think that's very appropriate.
So while we're waiting for it to stop, Sada's going to go back downstairs and look outside and see if is there a cart out, like any kind of a cart.
There is absolutely nothing here at the moment. It's just a complete wasteland of disgusting water, metal shavings, and putrid earth and bugs.
Okay.
Even if there was, you get the sense that any kind of cart trying to get through this muck and stuff, it would just be harder to pull than it would be to walk through something like this.
I was going to try and chop it in half and use the back wheels and the floorboard and strap Zahn to it.
Yeah, there's nothing around at the moment, though.
All right. I guess in that case, she would just wait until the rain lets up. And let me see if I had any kind of.
As you all sort of wait, Zephyr will go around and make sure everybody's the best they can be at the moment. Wake you up, Zahn, as well, and Tiva. Why don't you guys both give yourself 1 hit point if you're at 0? I'm not sure if Zahn is at 0 or not. But
I have 1.
I was below 0, I think.
yeah, give yourself 1 hit point, Tiva, since you're technically still alive. Let's say he'll bring out this little, looks like almost like a watch that he has, and you can see that it now reads 7. He'll show everybody else that I don't know if he did or not before, because
yeah, he did.
I think it relates to these gods that are perishing. Every time we hear of one, another chime, and the number rolls once more.
You think that's the number of gods already dead?
It started at 4, and the halfling god passed. It chimed again when the Modrons acted all strange and twitchy. And now just again while we were outside.
I look at the others. So wait. So maybe because the march was happening about a few hundred years off, and it's always at the same time.
103 years early, exactly. Well, not to the date, but that many years,
yeah. Maybe their god died as well, and that's why this happened.
Vendrico, come forward. These beings that you call are not gods, just simple mortals of great power. What effect do they have if they die?
Well, you see the effect. It almost killed us.
Happen chance, Zan. Happen chance.
But tell me one thing. Why are always the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us in the middle of all of this bloody business?
I blame the dwarf and halfling. They brought us all into this. I just wanted to find Huron and book, learn a bit of accounting.
Seda takes her axe and just kind of jabs it right in his chest. And she says, we were going for a walk, and we stopped to have something to eat, and that was it.
You see what happened then?
No.
And Tiva, in her pain, she's going to just look at him and say, this was not our fault. We fell into this world.
I would like nothing more than to go right back home again.
And she also, yeah. And she looks over at Vendrick and asks if he had gotten any closer to figuring out the purpose of the eye.
Perhaps. But to utilize it is something that, well, you need the living for. And I am not living. If you did not know, this is just makeup.
What exactly do you mean?
You hold up the sign. You have to swap eye for an eye. Would you like?
No. I started laughing like a crazy man, like a crazy warrior.
But my eyes I do not no longer have. This is just illusion. For I can't swap an eye for an eye. What about you, Tiva? Would you like a new eye? One that can read the pages of a book.
I think they lost sound. They just wrote. We lost you guys.
Oh, okay, just a minute. Yeah, it's really hard to find. I'm gonna have to see if I can find the old AD&D monster manual or something, because Beholders is one of those ones that doesn't have stats for most OSR games because Wizards hold the rights to them.
Yeah.
I can't find any like stats that work for this system. So I'm just kind of messing with 5e and using theirs at the moment. But
I think I should have it. I can scan it for you. The Beholder stats.
I don't need it now or anything. But
As soon as she asked about Vendrick learning about the eye, that's when we locked up. So we missed everything that you gave for an answer. Sorry.
So you didn't hear? Okay. So Vendrick basically shows the eye and tells you that it needs to be swapped eye for an eye. He is unable to do it because being undead, he doesn't actually have eyes. It's all just an illusion. So in order for somebody to utilize the eye to in turn be able to read the book, they have to swap an eye for an eye. He looked at Zan and he denied it, but he'll look over at Tiva holding this eye. What about you, Halfling? Would you like to read the pages of a book? Tell me what it says. It's only a pinprick.
Can't you just look through the eye like a magnifying glass? Or a telescope?
Well, here, let me hold it up to your eye and see if that works.
I lift a finger, like lacking the words.
I didn't do that.
I mean,
But no, it does not work that way. The veins, the nerve endings of the thing that must connect with your own.
I mean, I might would do it, but I can't read.
That is why I did ask you, dwarf.
She kind of turns away from him and like does the whole knee look like it. Just kind of limps away.
I imagine Zephyr would just give him an absolutely disgusted, pissed off look, so he wouldn't even really look at him. I would like to know the
Eye
secret.
for an eye.
I, for one, want to know the secrets in book. It no longer talks to me. I can't hear its voice.
Should we maybe get to the safe place first?
Well,
Where is this?
yeah, there.
2 miles away, the town.
Everywhere. Does it really matter where we swap an eye for an eye?
Well, considering that you started it all,
I just wanted to read the pages.
No, I
You
meant
dragged me onto this.
he's talking to the halfling and the dwarf.
Okay, so
Yes, Zahn is right.
how do we know that Butterspoon was the first one? How do we know that it wasn't number 3 or number 4?
Well, you were present for all the following death, apparently.
I've only seen one guy die.
Well, but we were kind of there.
Zephyr sort of stepped in as I only assumed when the dwarf spilled forth from that window and told us what was going on is when the chime echoed from the watch. The numbers flipped from 4 to 5. So I assume number 5 was the halfling. But that is just assumptions. In one case or another, one of the 5 must be the halfling god.
Right, so we didn't start it. We were number 4.
So it was, before
Maybe you
that,
just don't know.
Well, maybe you just don't know either.
Well,
She's beginning to get visibly upset.
It's perhaps at some point we could go visit this Heart's Rest Tavern that you speak of, Seda, but
hell no.
I don't want to go back there either.
Well, it's
perhaps it has the answers we need. Maybe it is a safe place to rest. I have an invitation.
it's
You
not
do?
safe anymore.
We don't know.
The Heart's Rest Tavern, that was the tavern that we left.
Yeah,
It was being burned down to the ground.
one of them was.
What do you mean one of them? Oh.
Just the one that was in our place. We don't know about the others. We don't know how any of this works.
That's a good point.
He would show you, though. He actually does have an invitation to the Heart's Rest Tavern. It's just like a simple little letter.
Well, if you know how to get there, then that would be great, because then we could just turn right around and walk back to the Crystal Mist Mountains and everything would be fine.
So, but if it was that easy, I have no clue. You were the ones there, and I assumed you would take me there.
Why would you expect us to take you there if you had an invitation already?
And we don't know this place.
It was just an idea. I never even heard of the place until I got this pack, and here we are.
No, just kidding. That was a joke. Who's got the 6 intelligence around here after all? So Seda would just be like, and like put her hand to her forehead and just be like, I want to get my best friend somewhere where she can lay down and get tended to and he needs to have someone look at his leg or cut it off or something.
But my head soars over in your direction. Nobody's cutting anything from anyone here. And I get up again. Let's just move away from here. And while we're walking, we can talk about the eye.
Has it stopped raining, by the way?
It's slowing up, so yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to walk anywhere
Yeah, that was.
if it's still raining.
Nope, it's definitely walking
My
up.
arms
Enough
dangling.
for you guys to start headed out if you wanted to.
Yes.
Give me like 2 seconds. I gotta put my dog upstairs so he stops whining. He somehow got locked in the basement with me.
Oh,
Oh. Guys, this is a complete clusterfuck. This is terrible. We're so fucked. Oh my god. Could it be any worse?
I don't know that I've ever taken a beating quite like this.
yeah.
And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I really, really didn't think that lighting the torch was going to equate to a fuel air bomb.
I actually thought you wanted to burn like the
I did.
bugs, and I didn't think it would go off in the air already. Oh,
Exactly. So, sorry about that.
that was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm always picturing our group and the faces we have when that shit happens. Like,
Thinking the look is pretty somber right now.
a lot of pain.
oh yeah.
All right.
And both of her arms are useless.
I just picture you walking with 2 limp arms.
Yeah, they're just limp.
They just kind of flop beside you.
Yeah.
Are you guys headed out once the rain finishes up and
Yes.
Yes.
as the sun sort of gleams through this haze, gives everything this sort of disgusting greenish, orangish hue that sort of intermingles with each other. This fog lays close to the ground. You can see thousands upon thousands of dead beetles as you make your way across this wasteland.
Oh, good.
You get about halfway to this outpost or whatever it is along the mountainside. You can see that it looks almost like a fortress made of stone. It has large rampart walls around it, stuff, but doesn't look very big. Maybe like a average sized keep or something. And as you start to move, you can see the wasteland starts to slowly give away to more of a plains, the outer edge of the plains and the mountains, and a road sort of starts to materialize or form in the path. And off to the right, Zan, you will notice at first is a body, well, what's left of a body. The whole lower half of it is completely blown apart on the ground. And right next to you on the side of the road is a face with what's left of a face anyway, with 3 tentacles hanging off of it. All hemorrhaged. You can see all these little white maggot-like things wiggling around on the ground.
Looks like we found number 3.
And
Yep.
you are, Zan, you're not going to be able to help it, and you're going to blurt.
Oh god. Yeah?
The source of the Tungakim River is at a place called Hinter Rock.
Source of the tongue?
Yep, the source of the tongue, Tungakim,
Yeah.
Tungakim River, is at a place called Hinter Rock, Hinter, Hinter Rock. And it just blurts forth without you even really being able to do anything. Or
Just to play it off, I add, just so you know.
Heidi, come here.
yeah, as you kind of pass by this thing, you would definitely see it's wearing the same sort of silken robes, purpley, putrescent colored skin, and parts of it are imploded, these large hemorrhaging things, these little white maggots crawling across the ground. It's definitely, you would probably even recognize it as one of the ones in that tapestry.
Does he have a holy symbol as well?
Yes, he does. Yep.
I actually picked that one up and I clean it on the road. Or Forever.
Off a little.
Yeah. And then put it in my bag.
Yeah. As you continue on this roadway, nothing really else comes up. It slowly merges into an area that's a little bit more clean and less putrid and gross as you start to climb up this mountainside in the hills towards the edge of the mountains where this fortress is. As you get maybe 300-400 yards out from this place, you can see that it's shaped like a keep, maybe a little bit bigger, like a small village in size, but completely walled off and fortressed around it. Seda, you would maybe get the sense that it looks like it was at one time an old dwarven outpost. The rockwork and everything is excellent, very, very excellently done. And it still has the same looks and characteristics of a small dwarven fortress. You could see a large open gateway to the inside of this place is open on the front hand side. If it has any doors or anything, you can't see them. They're either all the way open or they're just not there. And there's a guy sitting in a chair, sitting in the front of this gateway, just leafing through a book.
Is it a human or
from where you're at, it looks just like a human, at least the same size and characteristics of one.
Well, as they're approaching up to the gate, Seda would just kind of half mention in passing that, not that it probably matters to anybody, she said, but I haven't seen any dwarves since we came here. And yet this is the exact same architecture that she's like, this is the exact same architecture that my people use at home. It's and that doesn't make much sense.
Who knows what happened to them? I mumble.
They lit a torch.
Oh my god.
So
even Vendrick will laugh at that.
So the guy is just sitting inside the gate. We sit like sitting outside.
Just right outside the gateway, just in a basic, looks like a wooden chair or something. You can see he's dressed in basic guard type Italian, just simple leather breeches and vest, armor. He has a sword strapped to his hip, but he just has it looks like a decent sized book in his hands, and looks like he's reading. He's not even paying any attention or noticed you.
So I guess Seda would just kind of walk up and just be like, "Excuse me."
Zoy! You scared the living shit out of me. You go back and you just see it completely tips over in his chair. You scramble up quickly. What can I do for you?
She immediately throws her hands up and she says, "I am so sorry. Please don't do that. Please don't be scared. You have no idea what kind of a day we've had today." Like that.
I was so engrossed in me book, I didn't even notice that you were coming along here.
I'm so sorry.
He pulled it up. He says, "It's an excellent book if you ever want to read it. It's called The Eye of the Beholder."
Oh god, I shiver. Oh my god.
Tiva just starts crying.
Do I
Love story between an elf and a half elf.
do I know what a beholder is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we all would.
She's like, no, thanks. No, thanks. My friends and I have had.
Oh, you look like shit is what you look like.
That's being
It's
kind.
an understatement.
You're being very kind when you say that. We really need a place to rest and just get off our feet. And can we please do that here?
Oh, most certainly, Mistress Dwarf. You can call me Ruse. My name is Ruse. Welcome to Iron Ridge. We're not just a measly town. We don't have much happening. But ever since we had a bit of a scuffle yesterday, but it doesn't really have much to do with anything else. But you know what you do? You got to go down the path here to the sort of edge of the town. You will see the large tree. It's the only tree that's here in the town. A large pine tree. It's always decorated with baubles and light. It's a beautiful thing at night. But you go out there and off to the west of it, just to your right, if you're walking down this way, is a simple little establishment called the Happy Griffin. That is where you want to stay. There's the finest fish mead you ever drank.
That sounds really pleasant.
Fish meat.
Aye, fish mead. We get it out of the old critters that are in the lake. We squeeze them tight and let them ferment in the buckets. It makes a potent drink.
Just so don't think about it. It's fine. And as I set a hoof forward, I stop and I say, "Good man, Ruse.
That's my name. Don't wear it out, my young.
Did you see what happened to the tentacle faces?
Tentacle, the lithids. We ain't seen a word of them in decades. They stay out there in the wastelands and doing their rituals and their strange things beneath the seasons. We don't pay any attention to them. Why? What's happened to them?
Oh, nothing.
I don't think you will see them again too soon.
Nah, well, it's for the better then, eh?
Oh, yeah. And I start moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep right on down yonder. If you pass by the tree, you've gone too far. Stop at the tree, take a right into the Happy Griffin.
I shake his,
Right.
Tell him Ruse sent you.
I shake his hand heartily and tell him thank you so much.
I don't mention it, dwarf lass. It's up to my pleasure.
And we go on through the gate, I guess.
He'll pick his chair back up and prop it up, and you see he wiggles it a little bit, and one of the legs falls off of it. Just kind of stares at it. Looks around, unsure what to do. Looks at you. Don't look like I have my chair anymore. I'm a bit of it broken. You'll have a good day. Just wander over, slide his back down the wall and take a seat at the entrance, open up his book, and once again start reading.
I mumble as we're passing through. The only thing missing, now, is an ambush by some thieves. Oh no, we had that already.
Give me I'm going to say a wisdom. No, how about a search check, everybody?
I didn't want to give you ideas. Nope.
Nope. Get a 3 or whatever. Nope. We all failed.
As you make your way
Nothing.
down through this thing, you'll see there's actually quite a few people. Everybody seems to be in okay spirits. It doesn't look like it's a very wealthy town by any means. They look like they've probably fallen on pretty hard times, being out here in the middle of nowhere with really nothing anymore. So they all look a little bit rough around the edges. You can see covered in soot and stuff. You get the sense that it's more of a mining town or anything. Probably a lot of coal, considering the way people are dressed and look. If you walk forward, Seda, I'll say you probably notice at first, you hear this ruckus going off to the side, and then you see a small kid rush out, hairier than, well, everybody else would think he's hairier than normal, but you would recognize it as a young dwarf lad, Seda. Maybe he's child, so young for a dwarf, whatever that would be. And then another third, fourth, and 5 young dwarf kids all run past, look like they're playing some sort of game. They startle you for just a moment, but as you kind of look around, everybody here is either human, half-elf, or dwarf. And it looks like a pretty even mixture of everybody. They give you a bit of a smile and a nod and will greet you if you say anything to them, but they don't stop or bother you or anything.
She kind of points us and she's like, look, dwarves.
Oh, yay.
It's like, that's great, Seda.
She's like, kind of looks at Tiva for a minute. She says, well, maybe they'll know how to get back home.
I just want my arms to work at this point.
Well, I know.
I want a pile of straw.
I don't want to be in pain anymore.
That too.
Right. Well,
A really somber party walking through the streets.
into the griffin then.
Yeah.
You'll see this huge tree that he was talking about. It's just a basic, like a juniper pine type tree or something. It probably stands a good 30 feet or so in the air. It's all decorated out with these small different colored baubles and orbs and small little sparkling lights. All decorated very beautifully. Beneath it, you see kids playing and a couple other people sitting around having what looks to be like a dinner type picnic or something. Off to the side, you see the Happy Griffin. Looks like a little ramshackle of a place. Basically like a skid building that's been propped together with whatever kind of wood and stuff they could find. The sign on the front of it definitely is just kind of crappily made by probably younger kids, as the Griffin pictures more of a stick figure that looks like a sort of like a cat mixed with a bird or something. Doesn't really look like a griffin. And it has the Happy Griffin. Some of the letters are backwards and completely spelled wrong. You see the door. There is no door to the building, just the open door frame or whatever that leads inside. It looks like a decent establishment upstairs. You can see the different rooms that must be up above for staying or whatever the case might be.
Tiva looks up. This is the Happy Griffin?
Doesn't matter. I don't care.
Happy.
I bust through the door.
There's a couple people in there eating. There's a younger woman who seems to be sitting up on top of the bar, her legs dangling over the side as she looks down to a person next to her that she's talking to, a younger man. Kind of gives that flirtatious giggle as she's talking to him and then looks up to see you coming through. She'll quickly hop down and run over to you and be like, "Oh, my dear, you look absolutely famished and injured. What can we do for you? What's your name?"
And for a moment, he's forgotten how his name is. After the shit, I'm Zan, and those are the others, and we need rooms. Rooms.
She yell over. She's like, "Sid, come and help me get our young friends here." And you'll see this younger man get up. He's fairly well-built human. He's covered in dirt and soot. You can see all the grime on his hands and stuff from mining. But he'll come over and help you, Zan, along with this girl. And maybe she'll help you, Tiva. She leads you all over to a small booth. Let me get you a bit of food and get you relaxed. You look absolutely trash, if I must say so myself. Just stay right here, have a rest, and I'll look after you, dears.
Tiva just says, "We've had better days."
She'll quickly run out back,
Grimaces.
dragging this other guy with her. You can hear him clambering around in the back kitchen areas or getting food or something, and come out a few minutes later with a plate. It doesn't look like the best stuff, but it's a plate of some breads and stews they'll put on the table for you all. Nice fresh pitcher of water that looks rather putrid as well. And each has a mug, just like a pint-sized mug of, it kind of looks like a clear water and smells very strongly of rotting fish.
I hold his arm as he puts the stuff on the table and wants to retreat, and I just hold it and I'll whisper, "How can you live here in this hell?"
"Aye, lady, I don't have any choice. This is where my family is, where I grew up. We don't have much choice here on the Outlands to venture forth with certain death."
That we can agree on. Certain death.
You're lucky you probably made it this far. You don't look too good. Might I inquire what happened out there?
Well, you should see the others. They exploded. We didn't.
That doesn't sound very pleasant. What do you mean?
Oh, it wasn't.
Exploded? Who, friends of yours? My condolences.
Not directly. Well, you know those people with the tentacles on the chin?
The mind flayers. Yes,
Yes.
they're known to have quite a fortress beneath the wastes.
Well, now they might still have a fortress, but they aren't anymore.
Well, we haven't heard from them in decades, so I don't think they have much to worry about, but one less Olithid and is a candle on my cake.
Yeah, I see. And his face just flops forward onto the table. Like, totally exhausted.
You look over at Vendrick and Seda, and Tiva not looking the best. I imagine somebody has to feed you because you can't move your arms, but you'd be like, well, I don't own the establishment. The young lady there does, but I'm sure she'll be happy to offer some free room and board as all of you look quite rough.
Tiva tries to smile and she says thank you and don't worry, my friend will help me. And then she looks over at Seda.
Seda spoon feeds the poor little halfling. He'll hold out his hand to each of you. The name is Sid. Sid Kastar.
Thank you, Sid.
It's my pleasure. Why don't you all have a bit of eat? Take some time to rest. The sun will be setting soon and the gates will be closed, but you'll be safe here. We haven't had problems in years. Perhaps tomorrow I can get a bit of a story for you. I'm always interested in what adventurers come across and see. Perhaps I can help if you need it. There's a few doctors here. Might be able to reset your shoulder better and help fix you up a bit. Maybe give you a wooden leg.
Oh, my head immediately goes up. We will talk about that leg business later.
I imagine old Jenny can come up with something for you. He says, why don't you all have a bit of eat? Try the fish wine. It's tastiest stuff you've had on ages, I'm sure. Get some rest, and we'll be back at it in the morning, You'll clap your shoulder hard, Zahn, sending a sting down your back. I am sorry about that. Pull himself up and move back. You can see he talks to the younger lady behind the bar, pointing over, and she'll just kind of nod in your direction and give the motion that you're okay to head upstairs or whatever you want to do to get some rest for the evening. The only other couple that was in there kind of scoot out of the way and head out. Really don't bother you, or they constantly give you those glances and stuff, surprised that somebody new's in town, but they don't bother you or interrupt you or anything. So yeah, you guys can get some food and head on up to bed to get some rests.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I don't even care for the bugs under my skin. That's a problem for later.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Reminds me of that movie, The Mummy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah. Scarabs. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So we got Zahn has your bugs under your skin and a missing leg, and Tiva has broken arm.
Well, it's not missing technically, yes. Just saying.
It's just the housing of bugs right now.
Yeah. There's a solution for everything. We could fix that.
That's right. All right. And how about we call it there for the night since it's 6? That seems like a good stopping point. You guys are in the small fortress of Iron Ridge, it's called.
Oh, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was really crazy.
I really thought, oh my God, we're effed.
Yeah, really.
We're all just gonna die.
Oh, that was amazing. That was the best one so far. Oh, man.
So, who's gonna be the one to sacrifice their eye?
Yeah, always the one who asks.
Oh, shit. Well, she's already got 2